So Daniel and David, talk a little bit about some of the creative changes that you've made to the pilot. We saw this is, I think, the world premiere of the brand new version of the pilot. What did you guys change at the end?
Basically, I mean, one of the good things about the pilot process is you get a chance to regroup after you've shot it. And originally in the pilot, we had a character named Liv, which was a character that wasn't in the comic books that we created. And as Daniel said, she was very reactive and wide-eyed, and we felt like she couldn't really go toe-to-toe with John. And so we sat around and we started talking about the Zed character from the comic books. He's got a really interesting backstory, and we said, why don't we just put Zed in the first time? And
you know, another thing that you guys saw that's sort of a first, I don't think anybody's seen it yet. I know the pilot leaked online, and there was a different sort of demon on the rooftop that was battling John. And you know, what happened is, David was saying, like, we really wanted to present a certain reality to the show. We wanted it to be a grounded reality that was scary. And we ended up really driven into kind of a CGI world with the demon that was on the rooftop. And we thought, you know, it was David and I really, nobody was pushing us saying reshoot that sequence. People liked it, but David and I were like, you know what? We just want this to be as compelling and real feeling as possible. So we thought, what better way, you know, for John Constantine than to face a demon version of himself who would sort of, you know, hold his own sins up against him. So, and that was fun for Matt to go in and surgically shoot, you know, that one piece of the rooftop, right? You had to go back and
it was really interesting. I mean, it was really fun to play the demon John first of all, and then to kind of play it against myself when I wasn't actually there was a whole other experience as well, and that was good fun. So,
I mean, come on, the guy is John Constantine. I mean, we saw hundreds of people, and then Matt walked in, and we were like, dude.
But here's the amazing thing about it. You have to understand, when we saw him, he was on stage with Jude Law in Henry V. And we get this, we literally read and met with hundreds of people, and we get the self-tape in.
Yeah.
Where,
like long hair and
his hair is
beard and
down to his back, it's slicked back, and he had a beard that was like this.
Sasquatch.
And I don't mean to spoil, but
it was called me
it was
Sasquatch.
dark hair too, but he just, you know, he just captured it. He had it in the eyes.
And he's British.
I know. That was it.
So Matt, how did you sort of embody John Constantine? What made you go out for this?
Oh, I mean, first of all, reading the script that the guys have produced was great. And then I have a friend of mine who's a huge comic book fan, and for years he's been telling me about John Constantine and Hellblazer, and I didn't really know that much about it. And then I told him that I was auditioning for Constantine, and he sat me down and he was really serious, and he was like, right, this is how you've got to do it. and even now, I keep on getting these emails going, are you getting this in, and are you getting that in, you know, and so he's my own personal critic. So he sent me a few comics, I started reading those, and then went through the audition process, and then after I got the job, I just kind of delved into the comics, you know, and with all the source material that's there, I mean, it's great because, you know, you can just keep mining and gleaning from this amazing character.
Harold, why don't you talk a little bit about embodying Manny and what it was like to join Constantine?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. You know, when I talked to these guys and they told me they were going to create Manny for the show, I thought it was a really great opportunity to be on the ground floor of something new to the Constantine world, and so I'm not sure that I've fully embodied him yet because I'm still learning more about him, and they won't tell me everything about him.
It's Manny's skill to embody others.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm still learning. It's really exciting to keep coming up with new things and figuring out, you know, the type of angel he is.
You don't know if you're good or bad.
Yeah, it's really. Well, I think he's good no matter what. But
one of the great things about the Manny characters, you know, in the comic, you have those panels where you really get into John Constantine's thoughts. And look, we're not really a voiceover show. We'll have little snippets of it here and there. But what's nice about the Manny character is he's able to talk to John and really access sort of, you know, we want to explore moral ambiguity and dark and light and what it means. And so, you know, Manny just is a great way to open up John and get inside his head.
Yeah, it's great because they kind of, they both kind of manipulating each other, but there's this kind of mutual respect between them. They both know they can do some harm, but at the same time they're both trying to get one up on each other. So it's a really interesting dynamic between the two of them.
We sort of keep thinking of each other as gunslingers.
Yeah,
So standing there, waiting for the other one to draw. So it's really fun.
Angelica, talk about joining this ragtag group, and then for the producers, how are you going to introduce it?
Honestly, I just want to thank Daniel and David. It's a ride I've enjoyed right now, and I'm so excited to give a little bit of meat and bone to Zed and to play with this amazing cast and to play against John Constantine.
She just filmed her first day last night. When did you finish last night?
I finished at 4 o'clock in the morning, then got on
This
the plane.
morning. Her first day.
And the greatest thing is we did a chemistry test. We read a lot of actresses for Zed. But we did a chemistry test with Matt and Angelica. And I swear, she had you in her room.
She did.
She was backing him up against the wall.
When she left the room, we all looked at each other and went, whoa, okay. All right then.
As you were supposed to, right?
Yeah, I just want to give it, because of course I'm Latina, so I want to give a little bit of attitude. Latinas out there, thank you. I'm representing all of you right now, because we don't take stuff easily, and when something's wrong, we say it, and when we smell BS, we let you know.
I'm looking at Matt's intimidated. I'm looking at him.
I'm intimidated now.
Charles, talk about joining the show.
I play Jazz, John's best and longest surviving friend. A lot of his friends don't have that luxury of surviving. He tends to lose a lot of friends for the greater good, and he also serves as sort of a driving force, not to say just a cabbie or a driver, but I think he kind of keeps prodding John along. I think there's certain mornings where John would rather just wake up and deal with his hangover, and Chaz is there to cook him breakfast and kind of kick him into gear.
David, you wanted to mention something that you're really proud of about the show.
Yeah,
We're all proud of it.
I wanted to announce that our composer is somebody that the Comic-Con crowd is probably very familiar with, Emmy-winning composer Bear McCreary. Bear's music that you heard in the pilot, and be hearing it on in the series.
Talk a little bit about what we should expect this season. How closely are you going to align with the original comic book series versus the new 52? It sounds like you're going back to the origin.
We're going old school.
We're going to do a lot of frothy romantic comedy.
It's a 4-camera sitcom.
Yeah, and a lot of musical theater. Look, there were over 300 issues of Hellblazer, and I think there's, I don't know, 16 issues of Constantine with the new 52, so we're going to be dipping into the Delano stuff, and the Azzarello stuff, and the Ennis stuff. I mean, we're not idiots. I mean, the best writers in the business have been writing Constantine for the last 25 years, and we're going to use that as our source material.
When Constantine stepped into the Swamp Thing universe, it was shortly after the Newcastle incident for any fans of Hellblazer, and that's the point that we're meeting him. I mean, as you've seen from the pilot, we use that for heavy inspiration, and by the end of the first season, we're going to introduce all of the Newcastle crew and reconstitute them towards the end of the season in our climax. But it's all directly from the earliest pages of Swamp Thing and then Hellblazer. All this stuff.
Pop at Midnight.
And it's all ahead. All the things that happen to Constantine, it's all ahead of him. So we have a chance to dramatize and visualize all of it, and just not only for the fans, but for people who haven't met the character, they can meet him and witness all those events.
Anyone else you can talk about showing up later in the season? Zatanna, for example, or any other characters?
We have access to the sort of occult corner of the DC universe. So you'll be seeing some other characters filtering in. We've got probably our first guy in episode 5 or 6 and a few others. We just want to make sure that it's not guest star of the week, that they're recurring characters and somebody that works in organically. But I'm sure many of you saw the Dr. Fate helmet. That was sort of a clear indication of our intentions.
Right.
All right, well, unfortunately, that is the end of our panel. So Constantine, Fridays this fall on NBC.